Imagine you're in this roadside bar, Mississippi or Alabama or Tennessee or something, and your tone is perfect on your guitar, and that you hit it hard, and the amp reacts, and the drummer's listening to you, and he hits it hard, and you can feel it in the room. Everybody's super connected, and the audience is like eating out of your hands. Yeah, I mean, like, they're just like, the audience is just in everything you do, and you're getting quiet together. You're building your solo, starting real quiet, and by the end of your solo, you're just playing hard, and it's like the drummer's feeling it. Everybody's connected. It's this critical mass of dynamics, and the music, you're playing like this incredible solo because everything you do is so connected to all the other musicians. You play a little lick, and the drummer complements with his lick, and everybody's listening to each other. It's this beautiful moment of the audience, the band, everybody being connected. And as the volumes go up and come down, it's this magical experience. That's not going to happen with in-ear monitors. So basically what I'm getting at is in-ear monitors really limit your ability to feel connected to the other band members. And there's pros and cons to everything. So let's go. We'll talk about, as a guitar player, I'm not so much a fan. But if I really confess, when I'm singing and when it's about my voice, the in-ear monitors are pretty great. But let's look at it. I resisted for a long time, okay? I wanted to create this moment, this like roadhouse on the side of the road in Mississippi, pure moment of the band playing together and using dynamics to the maximum. That's something that's really lost now when you see a lot of bands play, is dynamics. In fact, we could even say there's only 4 elements of music. Broad strokes, 4 elements of music. Harmony, melody, rhythm, dynamics. Most people forget about the dynamics, but that's how you really create magic in the moment, is by getting real quiet, getting the audience to lean forward and get more interested. A lot of people will say, like, well, look, man, Zeppelin played loud. All my favorite rock bands, they play loud. Dave Grohl, he's playing loud. I see the Foo Fighters. Yes, but the best bands, including Zeppelin, would also get very quiet. If it's loud the whole time, the audience gets numb to it. And even worse, if you're using in-ear monitors, everybody's on in-ears. And nowadays, a lot of the clubs I'm playing, they're using subs below the stage. Everybody's coming out of the mains, and they're mixing it like it's a record. Everything is super compressed, super loud, right out of, and it sounds like a record. But what they're missing is, and I've sit in the audience and I watch this, they're missing the dynamics. It sounds good, but they're, and I see this a lot actually in clubs. They're like, why aren't people staying? Why is there no retention? It's because the bands are not taking the people on this journey. And one way to take the audience on a journey, whether they want to or not, is to have this super tight groove and use dynamics to make the songs really reach people. And it just doesn't happen with the in-ear monitors. It feels more like you're in a separate room because it's basically headphones. Everybody in the band is on headphones. So as a guitar player, somebody who wants to play blues music and rockabilly and play like this very inspired guitar solo where everyone's connected, coming up and down together, it's really missing with the in-ear monitors. Now, as a singer, oh, it's so nice. If the drummer's bashing, if you're playing a lot of pickup gigs or you're playing just a big show, as a singer, the in-ear monitors are great because I can hear my voice. So it's kind of like a give and take. Well, how am I going to deal with the fact that I don't feel good playing guitar and being separated from all these other musicians when there's no dynamics? That's my comfort zone, is to, use dynamics and really lock in with the bass player and the drummer. Well, the trade-off is I get to hear everything with my in-ear monitors when I'm singing. But I come up with something that really works well, and I've been using this DI amp. So I'm not going to say it's the same as playing with a real amp in the room. The sound's bouncing off the walls. We're creating this moment together. But this Quilter DI that I've been using has really made a difference. And I actually think it sounds better through the in-ear monitors than it does through the actual stage monitor. So I would fight it, man. I would just be like, okay, I'm going to keep using an amp. Everyone else on stage is using in-ears. I'm trying to use an amp and a monitor for my voice, and I feel so disconnected from everybody in the band. Now, if it's one of my gigs, Ry Bradley gig, you better believe there's going to be an amp on stage, and everybody's going to be listening to each other. But if I'm working for somebody else, you never know what you're going to get. And some people, their comfort zone, a lot of singers, they just want to use the in-ears. Quilter DI. I'm going to take some pictures of this thing as I play it for you guys. It sounds great. I'm actually using it right now. So I'm not going to be using an amp on a gig, and I'm going to be using in-ears. This thing is going to make me feel pretty damn good when I'm playing. So let's do some pictures of these different settings. I'm using the Quilter Superblock UK. If I want to clean it up, still sounds pretty good. Say I'm playing rhythm. Singing, and then I want to do a solo. Hear how it gets just a little more aggressive with the overdrive. And that's generally how I keep it, because I'm probably going to be switching from something kind of aggressive to maybe something kind of western swingy. And this Quilter DI, I can't believe it. I've been an amp guy most of my life, but this thing, it actually works like an amp, where you can turn down your volume knob and get it to really react. So cool. Let's try another setting. Just a little. Yeah, sounds pretty good, pretty rough. That's a Telecaster, sounds like that. Hey! Yeah, baby. Yeah. So I like it. I mean, pretty rock and roll setting there. So I cleaned it up a little bit. Let's turn it up with the gain all the way up and see what happens. Hopefully I'm not clipping my audio here. I'm going straight in for this recording. Well, I'm using the Quilter straight in. Gain all the way up. Let's do it. I mean, it sounds like a Marshall to me. I might be clipping the. I also got more volume when I turned up. Let me just fix something. Okay, I had to turn down my input. I was clipping. Once I turned it on the Marshall setting, I didn't change the volume. I just turned the gain up. Right now, it just feels like I have this huge ass Marshall in another room, and I'm listening to it through the studio monitors. It sounds pretty good on stage in the mains. When I use this thing through the monitor, it does feel like it lacks something. I think it's actually the monitor speakers. They just are not as reactive as like a tube amps speakers and the way they react. Like the Quilter stuff, when I play with Tommy Harkenrider, his Quilter amps sound amazing to me. He really have become a believer because of just playing with him and listening to his tone on these Quilter amps, side by side to my tube amps. But this Superblock is straight in, and it just basically feels like my amp is dimed in the other room. So let's try a couple of these other settings just for anybody that's interested in this thing. So I lost volume when I turned the gain down. Shocking, just like an amp. So this is going to be like a Vox thing. I'm turning the gain back up. I'm not hearing much of a difference, but I like it. Let's try the bright sweat setting. I tried the bright on a couple of gigs with the telly. It just was way too much. Let's see what you guys think. Okay, so here I'll take a picture too so that we have this. Interesting. I can't really tell through the studio monitors. When I was on the gig, even through the in-ear monitors and through the regular monitor, it was just too much. It was too attacky. Last thing I want to say is that the point is to find something that really works for you, and also just manage your expectations. I was battling the reality that a lot of the gigs I'm playing now, and as a working musician, I was having to play in an environment that wasn't my favorite, but I did find something that worked for me. So I did see the good in the in-ear monitors, the saving my hearing, and I could hear my voice so well. And then I found a piece of gear that really did work for me. This Quilter Superblock UK is killer, and it does sound really good through the mains. And going into a gig that's not necessarily my gig, or going into a situation where I know it's going to be like a huge stage and they're just going to put everything through the mains anyway, this is the win, you know? And so I guess the main point of this whole video is that I wasn't so rigid about how I was looking at it, and I actually learned something. So I learned a new way to play. Of course, if it's going to be a Ry Bradley gig, it's going to be my songs and my stuff. You know, I'll have an amp, and I'll have me and the drummer will be super locked in, and the bass tone is going to be exactly how I want, and it's going to be that kind of roadhouse critical mass situation. But you know, I learned something by just easing up and going like, okay, this is going to be great for me. A lot of the other direct type guitar tone stuff like Kemper's and there's a Helix, I think, I was not that impressed. I didn't feel like I was really connected to the dynamics and what was happening with my right hand. So it's all about the finesse with the right hand. And so those other pieces of gear, you may love them. That's the point, is that you got to find the thing that works for you. And there's not going to be one better way to play. But if it comes to me, I'm going to do it my way, which is kind of the old school way, the way that Hendrix did it, the way that the all the blues guys that I love did it. And that's creating this really dynamic experience on stage. But if you're at an arena festival, let's say you're playing with Tim McGraw, the audience is hearing the bass drum and the vocal. So just make yourself happy. Get whatever piece of gear is going to make you happy. Sometimes when you're playing a gig and the load-in is ridiculous, an amp you might just have to, like, you know, choose the direct option. So I do like this Quilter Superblock because I do get the dynamics out of it. If I play soft, it reacts the way that an amp would, and I'm really impressed with the Quilter stuff. So thanks for watching, everybody. Hit me with a comment or a question. Let me know what works for you. Definitely going to be using the in-ears on other people's gigs when everyone else if the whole band is using in-ear monitors, I'm going to be using it because we're already disconnected. I might as well hear my own voice. And if you see me playing in some small club in East Nashville, you know it's going to be wild. I'm looking for that Roadhouse, Mississippi blues band type of vibe. So thanks for watching.